They said come and see the house. They didn't mention the chickens, the cows, or the Moat of Death. Welcome to a rather wild property listing here in Thailand. We're heading inland from Hua Hin into Petchaburi province. Today we're not just looking at a property, we're exploring a dream, or possible nightmare. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but with a property in Thailand, you need to see the whole story. And this one, well, it's a story with a few twists. We've arrived at our destination, 5 rai of land, a house and a whole lot of potential. I would guess that the house itself is around 8 years old, but you wouldn't know it at first glance. It's been left to nature, shall we say, with vines creeping up the walls and the grounds left untamed. The owner, bless their heart, doesn't live here, and it looks like the person who's supposed to be looking after the place has a slightly different definition of maintenance, shall we say. We've got a small flock of chickens and a cow, but also a rather large collection of things that are definitely not supposed to be here. It's a project for sure, but that's often where the best opportunities lie, right? And when we say 5 rai, for those not familiar with Thai measurements, that's a significant amount of space. We're talking about 8,000 square meters, or just under 2 acres. That's a huge area to play with. But here's the biggest twist. The previous owner had a vision, we guess, a grand plan that mainly seemed to involve an excavator. My best guess is that they wanted to create some kind of a coffee shop oasis with water features, bridges, and maybe some fish. But for reasons unknown, lack of money, lack of interest, or perhaps a lack of official permission, the project appears to have been abandoned. Now we're left with a series of deep, steep-sided trenches, and they're not just a minor inconvenience, they're a hazard, and they completely cut off parts of the land. It would take some serious work to either fill them in or build them out as a new feature. So let's talk about the practical side of all of this. For our US and UK friends, the most important thing to know is that buying a property in Thailand is different. Thai law doesn't allow foreigners to own land outright in their own name. There are ways around it. The most common is a long-term leasehold, typically for 30 years, which you may or may not be able to renew. This allows you to legally own the building on the land, but not the land itself. It's a popular option for foreigners. Another common route is to form a Thai limited company with a majority of Thai shareholders, which can then own the land. This is a lot more complex and requires careful legal guidance as rules and checks on this are increasing. What about costs? The asking price for this property is 3.2 million Thai baht. At today's exchange rate, that's roughly £70,000 or $90,000. But that's not the final price tag. You'll need to factor in a 2% transfer fee, stamp duty, and a withholding tax, which are typically split between the buyer and the seller. As for annual costs, Thailand does have a land and buildings tax. The amount depends on the use of the property. Since this is currently a mix of residential and vacant land, you'll be looking at a small annual fee. But it's important to remember that tax rates can increase for undeveloped land over time. Back to our 5 rai of opportunity. Despite the chickens, the cow, and the unexpected moonscape, you can't deny the potential. It has running water, and it sits right on a main road with a dirt side road for access. The framework is there, it just needs a vision and someone willing to put in the work. So there you have it, a property that's a puzzle, a project and a promise, or not. Would you take on this challenge, or is it too much trouble for a few chickens and a very messy garden? So what do you think? Takeaway or runaway? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this informative or even a little bit entertaining, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more adventures, and share it with a friend who might be dreaming of their own paradise. Until next time, this has been your host, Pete in Paradise. Have a fantastic day, everyone.